do birds suddenly appear every time you are near? Good morning, y'all. How you doing? Happy Tuesday. Hope you're having a great week so far. I asked someone yesterday, how's your Monday started? How'd your week started, bro? He's like, damn, not good. And I was like, well, what happened? He's like, I'm just busy trying to get in the groove, man. I was like, that's the way I feel. Because it's summertime. The kids officially aren't back in school yet. My kids go year round, and they start school on Thursday, actually. So right now they're in camp. Just dropped them off. Good morning, Ashley. Just dropped them off. And so that's why I do this right here. I do these live real estate videos. If this is the first time you've ever watched, what I do is I try to answer as many questions real estate related as possible, and not just your normal, oh, where do I get started, or how do I do this, or how do I do that. It's not that I don't want to answer those questions, because I do answer those questions quite a bit, but I feel like sometimes there's questions that maybe you haven't found the resource to answer it yet, or maybe you Google it and it didn't pop up. You're like, well, I asked the question, but I didn't really get a straight answer. I would love to know if someone can give me help that's been through it. So these two questions today are really important to me, because these are actual questions that I got like last week. These are emails that I posted on Instagram. I posted the screenshots, and I took like a survey to see how many people could guess what the answers were. It was basically a yes or no question. But I answer these questions for you. If anybody has any questions that you want to ask while we're doing this, feel free. Good morning, Danielle. Good morning, Vanessa. Good morning, Joe. Good morning, Danielle again. Morning, y'all. Morning, y'all. You got to say morning, y'all, when you get in my videos. That's the rule. Why do we say morning, y'all? When we get into this video, the first thing you do is say morning, y'all. Why do we do that? Because it's polite. Because if you see anybody, the rule is I say before 11 o'clock, 10 o'clock, you got to say good morning. If you're meeting people at work, or you're seeing people at the gas station when you're getting gas going on your way to work, or whatever you're doing, if you are conversing with anybody, you got to say good morning. That's just the rule. It's just proper manners. Dad taught me. So morning, y'all. First thing you do when you get in here, you say morning, y'all. And if you can, hit the little button right there. Right there. Ta, 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 ta. Okay, so what we're going to talk about today is two really important ones. These are actual emails I got last week, and maybe you know someone going through this, or maybe you yourself are going through it. So if that's the case, pay attention, or tag that person, share this video with that person. I'm trying to get this video right, because I'm on Ocean Drive right now. I mean, you know how smooth Ocean Drive is, so it's throwing my video off. Hold on, hold on, is it moving? No, doing good, okay. All right, just bear with me. We're going to get to it. And by the way, if you have your own questions, feel free to ask those. All right, first question is, if I bought a house with my ex and I no longer live there and they're still living there and I want to buy a new house, what do I got to do? What happens then? So this happens more often than you think. Not all of real estate is beautiful. Not all real estate is pools and open houses and fun and just like happy situations. A lot of times real estate is, unfortunately, because of divorce, because of death, because of inheritance, because of just bad financial situations, some people got to sell. There's all these different situations where people got to sell. There's some situations where, again, someone was married, they bought a house together, time went on and things didn't work out, and now one person is living there, taking over the house, paying the bills, paying the monthly mortgage, or maybe someone else is living with them now, and maybe the person who used to live there lives with somebody else. Whatever the situation, that house is still there. It's still under that one person's name and the other spouse. Even if they're divorced, it's still possibly under their name, or even maybe they're separated, it's still under their name in the eyes of the bank. So if I'm the bank, I see these two people, and I'm like, okay, person A and person B own this house. The bank doesn't care if one person doesn't live there. They just know that both names are on this house. Now, what does that matter? Well, say person A's living there and person B is not living there but wants to buy the new house. They're the one asking this question. Can I buy a new house? What do I got to do? It's really going to depend on a few different things. One, do you have the income to support the two mortgages, and what type of loan are you going to get on the second mortgage? And two, if you can't, when you talk to the lender, if the lender says, oh, hey, yeah, we're going to get you approved for this new house. Everything's looking really good. I do see this mortgage that you have. They don't care. Not that they don't care, but it's not going to change anything if you tell them, oh, well, my ex-wife lives there, or my ex-husband lives there, or whatever it is. They're going to say, oh, well, it's still under your name on your credit report. So in the eyes of the bank or the lender's going to say, well, we can approve you for this new house, but you still have another house that you're paying on. And say the balance is super high. Like the question that I got asked, the balance was actually kind of low. So it could have been it's probably going to be a fine situation to get her refinanced for it. But if a balance is pretty high, and maybe that person A can afford it, it's not that they can't afford it. I mean, they're living there, they're paying the bills, right? But in the eyes of the bank, when they bought the house, they had two incomes. There's two incomes that bought this house, and because one income's no longer there, trying to buy another house, that one person A, who's living in the house, may not be able to afford it in the eyes of the bank. So the bank's going to go, well, no, I can't refinance it under your name. I can't switch everything over to your name because you can't afford this house according to your debt to income ratio, even though you're living there. I know that sucks, right? So in the event that you have someone, or you know someone, or you are that person who are going through this, where you have a house and you own it with an ex, you're really gonna have to figure out what your options are before you go buy another house, because you can't just say, oh, well, they live there, they pay it, so no big deal. You're either gonna have to make it look like, I was gonna say, you can make it look like a rental income, but again, your name is on that note. Your name is on that loan. So you're gonna have to figure out if they're gonna refinance it, the ex, or if you're gonna get a different type of financing. What I mean by that is, if the home that you purchased with the ex is, say, an FHA loan, then the new loan you get is going to have to be like a conventional loan. You're going to have to put a little more down in order to have the two different mortgages, two different names, two different places. Okay? So that's question number one. If you have any further questions about that, I would love to talk to you. That's something we talk to people about once a week, either because someone's already moved on, or it's a situation where people are saying, hey, we need to sell our house. We're actually going through a divorce, and we're still civil with each other. We're still living here, but we need to sell, and we need to do what the court ordered. And we need to sell it. We need to find out what it's worth, and we need to split the profits. That happens all the time. We are able to deal with that situation delicately. I don't want it to be where it's like there's no favorites. Like, even if one person approaches us, it's not going to be like, well, we're only going to talk to you. Screw the ex. Like, that's not the way it works. We have to play fair because y'all are both the owners of the property. We have one right now without saying anything about it, and one person doesn't live there, the other person does live there, and we have to keep in contact with both people, saying, hey, this is what's going on with the house, we're getting some good showings, hey, we're gonna do this, hey, we want to do this, hey, here's a question. We got to keep in contact with both separate messages. So that's question number one. Who else is in here? Who else do I get in here? We got Brady. We got Ross Bennett. Ross supposed to be working. We got Stephanie. We got Mike. All y'all got to say morning, y'all, because I didn't see it. Y'all got to say morning, y'all, before I'm done with this video. Second question, and by the way, if you have any other questions of your own, feel free to ask it in the comments. If this is the replay, because right now it is July 15th at 9:52 on a Tuesday. If you are not watching this July 15th on a Tuesday, 9:52, then this is the replay. Or you're watching it not live. You can still ask a question. I'll see the comments, and I can go in there and I can answer it for you. Second question. This was actually, hold on. Here, ambulance. Oh, there it is. See, did you hear it too? Mike, gotta say morning, y'all. So, second question, really important. This was one I got last week too. It was like the same day, I think. I got the other email. The email said, hey, my daughter has really good credit, but she doesn't work. It's not 7/16, is it? It's 7/15. Y'all are lying to me. I don't know what date it is. I think it's the 15th. This email said, hey, my daughter doesn't work, has really good credit. Okay? My daughter doesn't work, has really good credit. Can I use her to buy a house? The simple answer is no. No. And here's the reason why. If you go to buy a home, is it really the 16th? Are you sure? Oh, yesterday was the 15th. I guess my watch is off. But it says Tuesday still. When you go to... This is question number 2, by the way. Sorry. I'm starting to get distracted. If you buy a house and you go talk to the loan officer, the bank, whoever you're talking to, the mortgage broker, lender, whoever you're talking to get this home loan, or both of those people have to work. And here's the reason why. They can't just put a person on there just because. If they're not working, there's no income coming in. Now, if person A and person B go in, whoever they are in relation, if they go in and they say, hey, we got y'all approved because we took both of y'all's income, we looked at both of y'all's credit history, we looked at both of y'all's debt to income ratio, and here's how much house you two people can afford. That's what they'll say. But if one of those two people don't work or don't have any income coming in, be it Social Security, be it the disability check, be it unemployment, be it an actual job, or just like you won the lottery, whatever it is, if there's no income coming in from that second person, then the bank's like, well, why are we putting you on here? We can't just put you on here just because you got good credit to help out the other person. Both people have to have some form of credit they have to have some form of income, and you got to have at least 2 years worth of tax returns. We got to show that, yeah, this income that you might get, it's it's a regular thing. It's not like, oh, I just I do side jobs here and there, and last month I worked, but I didn't work the rest of the year. You can't have that. So we have that question a lot when people are like, well, can my grandpa be on it? Can my dad be on it? He's still working. Yes, but if your dad's going to be on that home loan, then he's going to have to live in that home, because the people that are applying for the home loan need to live in that home. That makes sense, right? It's like, well, it makes sense. It's a little different than like when you buy a car, for example. When you buy a car, you can have someone co-sign for you, and that person doesn't have to drive the car. We just got to make sure that the insurance is in place for whoever is driving the car. So even if like you have a really good friend or a really good cousin or brother or sister, and they co-sign on a car for you, and they say, hey, you know what, you can help me use my credit to help you buy it, you have income too, that person doesn't have to live in that car, doesn't have to drive that car every day. They're not going to be checking, the dealership's not going to call you up. But because of homestead exemptions and other reasons, they do have to make sure that you are living in the house. So I hope that answers that question. Good morning, Christy. 7:16, yes, I know it's 7:16. Before I sign off, I'm actually going to the mall real quick. I got to pick something up. If anybody has any questions, I would love to answer it real quick. I'll give you a couple of minutes while I blah 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 to type it out and put it inside here. I got a little more energy in me to answer a couple more questions today. Plus, of course, if you're watching this on the replay, check out the buyer's guide, check out the seller's guide. Call me, email me if you have any questions regarding selling a home, buying a home. And I don't mean this like, hey guys, if you have any questions, I legit mean it. Like I say every day, this is all I do. As soon as I hang up, as soon as I get off of this, I'm going to get an email, I'm going to get a message, and I'm just starting work. All day, I'm answering questions. I'm making sure people understand the process. That way, if they're looking to buy a home today, great. Most of the time, it's not that way. Most of the people we talk to on a daily basis are not buying a home that week, that month. A lot of times, it's just trying to get general information. We had a couple closings last week where I looked through my messages on some of the buyers. I'm like, man, we've been talking since 2017. One of them was March 2018. And I thought, wow, like we've been talking for a long time. And the reason why is because they weren't ready back when we talked the very first time, but they needed more info. They had questions that we were able to answer for them. And over time, when things got, different for them in different situations, they saved up and they got in a different position with their work, savings, and everything else in their life. They're like, let's do it now. So don't feel like if you ask me a question today, what's up, red shirt? Bro, me and my wife were laughing about that yesterday. I saw my friend Mike yesterday at the school with the kids, and he was wearing a red shirt. So I was like, what's up, red shirt? And I kept yelling at it like an idiot from across the hall. And finally he's like, oh, you talking to me? I was like, yes. Anyways, if you have any questions you need us to answer, we can answer that right now. If you're in this right now, you have a question, or if you know someone that has a question, tag them, share this video with them. That way you can make sure that everybody gets their questions answered. No matter what it is, we've heard it. There's not going to be this crazy question that someone's going to ask, and I'm going to be like, whoa, like, what? And even if there was, and it's very rare, even if there was, and the reason I say that, it's not because I know everything, it's because, one, people don't really talk about this stuff unless you're a realtor. So it's not like you're asking these real estate questions to some of your friends. You usually just ask certain people these questions. So what happens is, because you don't ask anybody else, you don't really get a consensus of, is this a crazy question? Is this an out of the ordinary question? A lot of times it's not. And so a lot of people have the same questions, and they have the same concerns. They have the same worries when it comes to buying and selling, that they're not crazy questions. So it's stuff we deal with all the time. If you have that question and you feel like, oh, no one can help me, everybody that I help buy a house at one point has said, I'm beyond help. I can't buy a house. Oh man, it's just, I'm beyond, man. Like, just don't even, just leave me behind. It's like in the movies where they're like, save yourself, leave me back. It's like, I'm not leaving you. That's some buyers that we talk to. It's like, no man, like, let's figure it out. If you have any questions, you need anything else, let me know. Buyer's guide, seller's guide are going to be inside the comments along my phone number and email. If you ever have questions, you can leave a comment. If it's something personal where you don't want to just put your business out there, it's like, man, I don't want to ask this question. Like, people are going to be like, what? You can say, it's okay. What's up, James? People, people don't have to know your business. I'm not going to like take your question and just like throw it all over the place. And if I do, I'll block out your name. But if you have questions that are personal, you can message me, email me, text me. That way it's not all out there for everybody to read and see all your stuff. So if that's the case, no worries. You don't have to comment now. We can talk later. I hope y'all have a great day. If you need anything else, hit me up on Facebook or Instagram. Again, Buyer's Guide, Seller's Guide, all the links inside. Hi, Alice. All the links are inside the comments. Y'all have a great day. Happy Tuesday, the 16th, not the 15th. My bad.